Welcome back, everyone, to the Dead Air coverage of the Deadlock Core Tournament number 3, the best of EU. My name is Daisy Damp Powers, and I'm joined by Jacky and Blank. Hello, boys. Welcome back on the air.
Yeah, we're back. We're back in day 2, another day. Probably a bit of a shorter one this time around, but still some European Deadlock, guys.
Yeah. There's still some action. We will just be covering Pastin Panu, which translates to frying pan in Finnish, and My Dong. We will be doing this match. It is a best of 1, if I reckon correctly, right?
You do. BO1's all the way through.
All right.
Only the grand finals to BO3.
Nice. So we have 1 match for you guys today, but don't fret, as we will raid the main stream and you guys will be able to watch whatever games you want from there, but we will only be covering this single match. Blank, what do you have to say about both these teams that we're viewing today?
I'd say they've both got a lot of history between them. Taimu versus Tavik, Maidong versus Pastu Panu. Apparently Siri was interested. She's just started going now. But we do have the draft as well. I have dropped it in there for you both to have a little look at, which is starting. I enjoy that already. We get Maidong banning Wraith away from Taimu. Kind of a funny one. Taimu's been playing a lot more Mirage though recently, so this is, I think, more of a meme ban than anything coming through from Tavik.
That's fair. Can you tell us about Maidong? Because we know that Pastin Panu in general is a strong team made up of Taimu and his Finnish friends. But I haven't heard much of Maidong, mostly because we've been busy with other matches. But is this a team we should be looking out for, basically?
I mean, this team, you know, it's funny enough, Maidong was a team way back in Overwatch, right? Towards the early times in Overwatch as well. And both Taimu and Tavik have both played Overwatch together and on different teams. So it's kind of cool. And I think that's the main thing that you should be looking at here is just that rivalry between Taimu and Tavik. Because I think both of them do play regularly versus one another over in ranked as well as just casual games. I think I remember being in games with in a game with Tavik actually when the game first came out, and we were against Taimu for 3 games running. We beat him every time, so I'm rooting for Tavik here.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. Jacky, do you have a bias of any sort going into this matchup?
I think we've just done well for at least like for the BO1 we've got.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of fun. You get rivalry, you get some sparks that should fly. It's interesting as well because, like you said, obviously we were kind of hoping we'd catch some of the Maidong games. And see if they could really expand Dong over the course of the bracket run yesterday. We didn't get to see it firsthand, but they had a good set of games for themselves. Although you went down early, so this is how brutal it was for my Dong as well. By the way, if you look back in terms of the bracket, you've instantly gone down into a bit of a slippery slope, right? You're in the lower bracket pretty much instantly into the event. You're just coming out swinging. They've had to take name after name. First couple rounds of the lower bracket were DQs, so they did get the bye bias. But still, you got to play whoever's in front of you. They took down Edge. That was obviously the first team we saw yesterday in the BO1s. Edge didn't look too bad. They didn't look like they had enough hot stuff, though, to keep them going, right? So fair play. That's 1 notch in the belt. Then they beat Underdogs. Again, Underdogs, that's a side that we were rooting for yesterday. Played some great Deadlock. But again, you're kind of not hitting the same sort of threshold that you need to be. You know what I mean? They had some good last-minute steals. Crow had some good heads-up plays. But they kind of did live up to their name. It was playing from the back foot and looking for opportunities. Maidong, this is another one of those teams that I think should match the sort of level of Pastin Panu. I think they're going to come out really looking to give us a bit of a banger on this one.
Now, as we finalize the draft, let me ask you this. We know behind the scenes that Pastin Panu went for a nice Finnish lunch together, a little team lunch of some sort. Do you think that that's going to put them into an advantage into this match?
You just believed Jacky's nonsense coming out.
No, this is what I'm saying.
I mean, I hope that is true. I would like the idea. Like, they were busy. We know they were slightly late to the veto.
They're
but
coming home. They're on their way.
Yeah, I do like the idea. I don't know what
that
the equivalent is.
That they were having some sort of pizza party.
Yeah, because I don't know what the equivalent is in Finnish. But I know, like, if it was Sweden, right, it'd be like everyone's gone for a fika.
Exactly, right?
So they're all having, like, a little coffee break. But I don't know if Finland has the same cultural norm.
With some sort of buff, you know?
Finnish smorgasbord. Do they have a smorgasbord?
What is fika in Finland?
Finnish.
Well, apparently, and Finnish culture. I think it overlaps. I think it overlaps.
Maybe they did get a fika.
Yeah.
Rye bread.
All right, maybe it's close enough. Yeah, maybe it's close enough.
Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But they might have gone for a fika. If they
Right.
did, that could help. They did look good yesterday. And I think one of the key points there as well, as I was saying, actually, how you have an all-national Finnish team. Right now, a lot of the teams in Deadlock are very multi-nationality because there's a lot of sort of overlap of people just playing with different countries and different players and sort of bridging that gap wherever they can find these rosters. This is one of the few, obviously, full Finnish teams, which is kind of cool. Take that.
They're prepping for the World Cup already. That's what they're doing. It's
Team
smart.
Finland.
It's smart. It's smart.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know what's interesting is they're taking a lot of time with these drafts, and they're really interesting. I'm more curious about Taimu's lineup and what they can do with Mirage, especially. They banned Viscous, which makes sense to me, but these are looking like some synergized lineups for both teams, and I think Taimu's looks especially dangerous as well. It could be scary.
I think they're going for much the same of what we saw from yesterday, right? With the Lash Kelvin combo, Taimu on Mirage. I imagine that's the case, which is why it is sort of that joke ban coming through from Tavik with the Wraith. But that is sort of like laying down the law, right? You know, we don't need a strong ban versus you guys, but I am going to ban the hero you're most known for, Time.
Right.
I'm going to throw that one out there. But yeah, on the side of my Dong, they got a big McGuinness. I always enjoy watching McGuinness in my games, but this is very much a team that can 100% get away with the game, right? Infernus, Shiv, Warden, Pocket, McGuinness as that support. It doesn't have a crazy amount of roam potential. We'll have to rely on that Pocket a lot, as well as the Moncro, which is the last pick. I think that kind of completes the combo. So yeah, strong team, but I do think this is going to be a case of getting through that early to mid game versus the Lash Kelvin, which is going to be the most difficult part here for my Dong.
And for why you can't see the draft, because this is a very last minute thrown together stream with Jacky producing
Just
it
me,
while
I'm
he's
producing,
doing the stuff on camera.
I didn't have time to set up the buttons for the veto.
Unlucky.
So you get audio
So
draft.
here's what we're gonna do. Jacky, can you list out the teams and their picks in a very like movie theater voice, so people understand what the team picks are now that they're finalized?
Now you know what's wrong.
Now we know.
All right, so we do have Pocket, Warden, Infernus, McGuinness, Shiv, and Mo and Krill under the watchful eye of Team Tavik. They'll be coming out swinging. We'll see how the boys can do on that side. Of course, my Dong playing with that composition. Over on Taimu's squad, it's Kelvin, Mirage, Lady Geist, Lash, Abrams, and Hayes. Two bans for this one were Wraith and Viscous. I do like what we've gotten with this, actually.
Yeah.
Again, it's a game that bodes well in terms of the storyline, kind of a bit of a head-to-head fun matchup when it comes to the personality of the players, but also just with the exact draft we've got here as well. They're two viable teams. I think this is actually going to be relatively fun to watch. I'm on your sort of wavelength now as well, Blank. The more I see McGuinness at the minute, it's fun. I think it's a nice injection of a different play style we're seeing into a lot of these games. And it's such a short space of time where we went from McGuinness didn't look viable to now she really is. And especially in the right ways, you can be incredibly annoying. We've seen that bled over. Into more of our professional games, which is cool. So I like that. I like a bit of this. It's good BO1 down. We've done well.
It's interesting. I am excited. We have one match again for the new people who are here. We are just covering Pastin Panu versus My Dong. And this is going to be a casual match. It's a legit one, but it is going to be calm. It's the only one for us today. So we're going to have fun with it. It's going to be a fun time is what I reckon this game is going to be, because these are two stacked teams. They have history. These lineups are great. The team comp is there. And I think it's just going to be a good time. So I'm excited to be here and just, have fun with it for the best of one that we are covering. Blink, tell us what you're excited about.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could call it, it's less of a casual match. This is the match that will be rotating into our lower bracket final. So it'll be either the Buff Enjoyers or the Deadlock dudes playing against whoever wins here. And then they'll be going on to the grand finals at the end of all this. So it could be the case that Pastin Panu or My Dong moves through to that lower brackets final, and Deadlock dudes do own them again. All Buff Enjoyers, depends what happens. I'm already assuming Buff Enjoyers are going to win that upper bracket. But yeah, I would be really sad if it's a case that Deadlock dudes or Buff Enjoyers drop down and it is just Deadlock Dudes versus Buff and Joys again for the grand final. I'd like to see either Pastin Panu or My Dong heading through to that grand final. But it all starts here. All starts here in our lower bracket semi.
And you know what? The winner wins $510. So this isn't a small tournament either. This is the best of EU that we have so far. And it is one of its own unique tournaments that is the starting of Deadlock. And I'm really excited to be here and covering it with you guys today. It's just a good time all around being able to see the talent that we have today.
Yeah.
Jacky, do you think that you could one bomb a Sunnyside egg?
Oh, what, like instantly? Just put it off first time?
Like,
or do you
imagine
mean like one bomb it is eating it? Yeah, probably.
No, like one bomb, just swallow. How
No,
many
100%.
could you? How
Probably
many
quite a
Sunnyside
few, if I really needed to. I don't feel like they're that hard to get through. You could probably just consume them on the regular.
So like a dozen, you could.
Yeah, probably. Just bang them back, you know? Straight in, straight out, just like that. That's how we roll. I think lion's share of the prize pool as well for this one should be about $300. I think that's what the winner takes. The second place should be about $150, something like that.
Nice.
So yeah, a bit of a split on the old cash towards the end, but money to be made. And like you say, obviously it's the first sort of outing for some of these European teams, which is cool because it's like us get a bit of a different look under some of the names that we're seeing throughout this event under the microscope. Like Deadlock Dudes as well. As much as we won't personally get to see him again with our stream today, you will if you tune into the main Deadlock core stream afterwards and keep on going. And they look good. I mean, WizQT, if that is how it's pronounced, WZQT, man was swinging. He was playing some great games yesterday. Really impressive Viscous. His movement was so good as well. And it was nice. It was nice to get a bit of an optic check on some of these players that are really proficient with certain heroes that maybe otherwise we haven't seen as much. Good control in terms of like the actual timing with his Goo Cube, ways navigating in his ult as well. He just had the game sense for Viscous very switched on, and it was wonderful to watch because sometimes you see players that are like, I don't know, they can play a nice P90 Viscous build if they get going, but that's on the caveat that, you know, the game goes their way with support of the team. This guy was creating openings, he was initiating, he was playing a very sort of confident Viscous. He had more goop than most, I'll give him that.
I think when you play Viscous, a lot of times you're right, because a lot of P90 Viscous is you need a lot of support from your teammates to get to that point, and you're basically abusing either right click or the left click and just sending a lot of damage, and then just off the base values of a lot of his abilities and just being kind of good on their own. It could include cube as well as puddle punch to reposition folks in game, and I think that realistically the best Viscouses that we see, like Whiskey Tea, are the ones that are able to use that kit very, very well and can sort of transition more into that spirit build towards that end game. So you're picking up high velocity mag, picking up burst fire, but then you're moving into improved reach, boundless spirit, escalating exposure. Those are the Viscouses that I most enjoy watching. But you're right, his movement was just on another level. Speaking of movement though, Hevis yesterday from Pastin Panu, honestly, he was so slick with it on the Kelvin, on the Ice Pass, following up with Lash, but also more than that, I think it's the first time I've really seen a Kelvin properly utilize a lot of the self-sustain inside his kit.
Oh yeah, dude. He was like a actual really viable healer, basically.
Yeah, he was.
But you were just tanking all the damage, healing up the troops, and getting back in there. It was very cool, Damp. It was very cool to watch.
But we will be connecting to the game shortly. It looks like everyone's ready and in the server. You know what is scary to me though? We don't see who picks what in the draft, but I did see that Taimu is the one on Mirage. So we might see that unlocked potential with that character today. We'll see what he does with it. It might be fun. The game is starting very shortly, and I'll let you guys get into Pastin Panu versus My Dong. So enjoy it. Our only best of one of the day, and have fun.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, this should be a fairly exciting game, actually. There's going to be some sparks flying. Pastin Panu taking on My Dong. The Mirage moves. Is the ult going to be as impactful as we've been hoping for? Let's find out. Let's dial in. This is going to be a good game. Yeah,
it's kind of cool. And I mean, to be honest with you, Taimu's been playing Mirage throughout this entire tournament so far. We saw it a lot yesterday, and he was pretty slick with it. And I think that some of his teleports were quite nice. But mostly it was just that case of him being quite a decent bully in that early game. And I think a lot of Mirages, they fall off towards that late game, but it was still very useful because he transitioned more over towards that tornado, which was hella good. So I was very, very pleased to see that, because I think that the game that they won on Pastin Panu was looking a little bit scary, with a 7 getting fairly beefy. He was always ready. Always ready. Banning word picked up early here for Tavik on the Warden. Likely we're going to be seeing the Flying Warden build here, Jacky.
And this will be fun, mate. Aim's already looking good today. Quick check. See what the vibes are like for the old flicks. How warm's everyone feeling? You know, some of the Finnish lads were out having a little bit of tea, but they're back now and looking like it's warmed them up. And TV, always fun to see him on your screens. Expecting some mean plays from both squads throughout the course of this one. Early doors, relatively clean in terms of the farming. A little bit of a pull ahead in some of the lanes over on the side of my donk. Ooh, this is nice though. Deep engage at least from Captain. Forces them back, so makes it uncomfortable for Pastin Panu all the way over towards York lane. Get the stun off onto the Guardian, pepper some extra damage out. Always got the Scorn for the heal if he needs it. Mo and Krill making it nice and uncomfortable.
Yeah, fixation stacks though have been kept up pretty nicely by the Haze. They do fall off eventually now though, so he'll happily just back off. 1,000 souls in the back pocket, see what he picks up in the early game. Headshot booster, pretty typical on most of our shotgun characters recently, and it will be Mixad picking up Tavik nice and early into the game here. Again, this is the combination we saw yesterday coming through from Pastin Panu with Big Goose and Mixad. Just combining both the Ground Slam and the Essence Burst for an incredible burst combination. And it really does catch a lot of people off guard. And quite honestly, Warden is a surprisingly squishy character early on in the game.
If you can bully especially, break the confidence down and keep him in that sort of rough position where it just feels like you're not finding a way back in for a couple minutes, couple seconds, it can be pretty brutal early on, like you say. 3 minutes deep though. Important game here for both these teams as well in terms of survivability throughout the lower bracket. My Dong got a couple of freebies on the buys, but they still had to stay alive, and same could be said for Captain. Oh, mate, that is rough. Mo and Krill living on borrowed time.
Yeah, extra regen, restorative shot, monster rounds as well. Scorn should keep him fairly healthy in the lane. But yeah, the Haze is absolutely pummeling it on full HP as well. 1.7k to 2k at the moment. Not what you'd sort of expect from this lane combination, with Mo and Krill being able to be a little bit more tasty. There's the McGinnis pick coming into play. Abrams goes extremely low, but does escape. So no big amounts of value found here for Mike Dong.
It's starting to get a bit more messy, isn't it? Quite quickly, Pastin Panu put the pressure on. It's a pickup versus McGinnis towards middle. Mo and Krill again goes down as Haze keeps making the plays, but there is at least a bit of a battle back. Oh, the parry up close. Looking to make it awkward for the Abrams, but a few quick trades and they start to brawl.
Yeah, very, very good here. I mean, yeah, I think honestly for both teams, they're able to bring this back a little bit, either side. But generally, it isn't going in anyone's favor just yet. 17k to 17k at the moment. There have been some slick maneuvers from both sides. Once again, Hevis gets caught off by the wall, but immediately backs off. I'm surprised he didn't commit to punch around the corner into the frost grenade, but again, I think he was hoping just to juke himself out of there. Shiv getting quite beefy already, just in terms of the health bars. It gets to that point where it becomes a real nuisance in lane, but melee charge as well as melee lifesteal on the side of Abrams means he's going to be kind of difficult to force out a lane, but Medicinal Spectre does the same exact thing here for Onibai. Already picking up the slowing Hex, though, is somewhat of an interesting one.
Yeah, certainly got ideas in mind. Turret behind the veil, drop that one down to get an extra bit of chip damage back out. Geist already chunking. You can always be such a pain in the backside as well. The amount of potential damage output. Meanwhile, Frozen Shelter back over here in blue lane. Limited help from the outside. You pop the ult on the pocket and look to assist with the Affliction. You will lose out on the Shiv. It's again a 1-for-1. Quick skate round the back. Good damage distribution. I mean, you've bullied them both. Enough that you can actually go back in on this one. Quick damage burst on the side. Abrams living, but barely. All right. Nice answer from the pocket in lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a terrifying combo in terms of itemization, right? I mean, headshot boost, restorative shot, extra regen into enduring spirit. He is so difficult to fight because he's actually out healing a lot of this early game chip damage coming through from just the bullets on the Lash as well as the Abrams. And I don't think they were quite expecting that. It feels a lot of times when you're playing Pocket, once you've used both of your main combinations, the Flying Cloak into Enchanted Satchel, that's it, game over. Burrow comes out a little bit too late here as Big Goose will find Captain, and Waldo falls shortly afterwards.
And Big Goose, we know just how much impact he was having yesterday. It was very formidable. Had some great plays throughout the course of his BO1s. Goes down early for the finish side at least here, and gives a little bit more room for some push across the board.
In comes Big Goose over towards yellow side, but we do find Heavis falling down versus Crew. Again, Crew actually seems to be one of the most terrifying characters in the game right now at the moment. You know, when someone's got hours upon hours on Pocket, they can be absolutely disgusting to play against. You know, I really enjoy that early game itemization. I don't think you see a lot of people building like that. People have been thinking about picking up the Infuser, using those stacks to really pummel with the Barrage, but yeah, extra regens, restorative shot, mystic burst, really all you need in that early game to be a big nuisance, because the barrage gives you enough damage stacks to just be really hurtful just with the shotgun alone.
Yeah, if you've got that choreography down with some of the Pocket plays, you can see how you just always look so confident, and it's the swagger with it, with the way he was playing in lane. Even when you're getting outnumbered and bullied, he knows how to really play the numbers on Pocket, and pulled off some good engagements, kept them very low. More importantly, you're focusing on the overall growth of the team as well with Souls, so no silly overcommits. This could be a bit of a scrap. Going over to the Greenwich POV. You get Lash on the move back. Hayes rotated in. They wanted the info on the low Tavik, and they knew that he was trapped, so that's the instant sleep dagger with the follow-up damage. Mika shuts him down. You dive onto the Guardian. Start to make these lanes a whole lot more brittle.
Yeah, early return fire as well for Captain. Taking no prisoners versus this Hayes. Immediately looking for the teleport to the other side of the map here to help out versus Shiv as well as Crew here. So you got the triple combo with Taimu as well as Kaljami. All stuck in a tricky scenario. Maybe looking for the combo here, but not quite able to find it to open something up. But they can at least pressure this Guardian now and get their third one. I believe this should be for my Dong.
Damage output's pretty deadly though. Instantly get peppered, big grouping. You get the rotate over from the Geist in the back line as well. That's the lifesteal. Captain on the Moen Krill gets overwhelmed. Geist has to scrap back, and at least there's one trade onto the finish side as Big Goose doesn't look so large anymore. Guinness with the backup, running around the corner. Fadeaway Sleep Dagger's good to at least slow them down slightly. But you can just focus your attention on the Walker. And that's what they really want. Rotate over. Bit of a surprise play from the Mirage. Try and posture him out. They don't want to stand around and wait for him to spawn in. So they do back off on that one. Get a little bit of damage out. Shiv round the corner with support. The Crew again finds Heavis. Makes it a bit rougher for Kelvin.
Yeah, Heavis is having a horrendous game right now. And you can really feel like the guys from Maidong have figured out what Pastin Panu wants to do here. Maffin likely to go down next, but Crew attempting to save the life of the teammates. Slam coming through from the Abrams, and there's no escape there for Crew. Very, very well done. 2 slick kills picked up by Pastin Panu there. As I was saying, it's very nice to see the way Maidong's playing, just in terms of trying to break up the flow of gameplay coming through from Pastin Panu, because we know from watching a couple of their games yesterday, they're a very mobile team, but they're forcing Heavis to have to play very close to a lot of the Guardians to try and support on that one a fair few times. It's probably the character you'd want to do that in the first place anyway, but yeah, he is taking a lot of deaths because of this. Very far behind at 6k right now, so this Kelvin having to build very much into a lot of support with the slowing hex, into health nova as well. All you really can do here for him.
Delivering so far, though, with some tight deadlock between these two, as expected. Soul lead never really bleeding too far ahead. Both able to match each other's play in lane. In terms of the objectives, it is working a little bit better for my Dong. You've got the 3 Guardians to the price of 2 being lost. This could even be another Walker as well. Deep force round on York side. Rotate over from the Kelvin. Big dive in for the Warden. Chasing down Lash with a taste of his own medicine. And that's going to be a big goose dropping again. Heavy barrage called in. And the damage is abundant. Everyone trapped on the escape. You're peppering them down and really forcing out these lanes in the process.
Yeah, some seriously good combos here coming through from my Dong. I mean, the Flying Warden play as well. Majestic Leap into Last Stand. They pick up the urn off the back of that as well. Stole it away from those guys. In comes Mirage, but again, another lovely wall, and that seems to be a really good denial of the Mirage ult so far. And Taimu basically comes in for no reason, will lose his life for it. They immediately all collapse on towards Tavik, surviving for the time being.
2 back. Making it look a little bit better for Pastin Panu, but my Dong still wants to fight. Mo and Krill lashes out as Chameleon the Abrams is trapped. Lash up close, finally gets some revenge as Big Goose lands that one onto the McGinnis. Miles out of dodge as well. Shiv on the split. Still being found. That's Helvis that's going to be able to spot the man. Bit of a push back in as well, and that's where Waldo is. Dead as a doornail. Pastin Panu. Straight back to scrapping there. Good cleanup. Mop and bucket plays on the lane.
Yeah, necessary as well, because I think that in terms of objective control at the moment is a little bit in the favor of my Dong. And again, I think that when you look at these two teams, it is very, very nicely played. Even just from the early game so far from my Dong, just control the game, like I said, is kind of phenomenal. It's always funny to play with Tavik because this guy, you know, very chilled out a lot of times. But when he gets an IGL mode, he's a bit of a commander at times, which is always good to see. And I imagine that's exactly what he's doing in this game to make sure those plays go through for the rest of his squad. Yeah, curious so far because the swing did happen. We're only 2k ahead now for my Dong. Pastin Panu were able to bring it back. It was looking a little bit dicey, but full commit on that engage worked out.
Try and slow down Big Goose, but he was already slick with the moves, and at least is able to repossess to a slightly more breathable position. Shoulder charge in, Affliction called out. There's the response as well. Instantly eyes in the sky as you are chunking damage onto Helvis again, and he's got no escape path here. Double up from crew, looking to keep the punishment going. Tons of burst damage on every engage. Mo and Krill looks to chase around the corner, and you've just left everyone scarpering. Lane's really getting brutalized now.
Yeah, I mean, we're on to another Walker as well. Nice flying cloak as well to dodge the stun coming through from the Walker. Looked a little bit scary, but this man was 2 steps ahead here. Very, very well done. And immediately over towards pushing onto that next Walker. So, beautiful stuff. Muffin taking a fair bit of damage, but in comes the support here. And Taimu is absolutely getting caught off guard here.
Nothing you can do on that one. At least the trade back as crew takes down Taimu. Tavik yet to fall again as well to the Abrams. And that's the call to go for mid-boss. Everyone dog piles in. Spacing's pretty close on it on a wrap back around from Maidong. Potential plays to be made. In comes Mo and Krill. Quick burrow. Let's see how awkward this one can get. Rejuvenator coming down. Little bit of a slap around. There's the connection from Crew again. Mo and Krill steps it up. It allows Crew to jump in. They get it. Rejuvenator taken into the back pocket. Heavy barrage from the top line as well. From downtown, it's McGinnis. And it's all going wrong for Pastin Panu.
It's an incredible wall coming through. And I mean, throughout this entire game, the walls have been crispy clean so far. Difficult to get through. And honestly, now they're snapping them like cornflakes. This is getting rough for Pastin Panu as my Dong just gets bigger and bigger in this game.
And that is a massive play from Captain as well. The swing on the strafe with the melee baits out the parry. Even if there was a slim chance, he makes it look like there never was. They slice through him. And my Dong, Rejuvenator buff in the back pocket at the casualty of only 1 full respawn on pocket. You live in your movie. Infernus with a gun buff on pickup as well. And that lead starting to bloat a whole lot more. It's been equal this entire game. At most, we've seen a couple K. Now you start to pull ahead a bit further. Region of about 8k souls in the back pocket. Finally, a bit of a lead building for my Dong. This is what they wanted, and they try and extenuate it as well. Quick farm, get everyone on the move. See if you can confirm yourself another soul earn as well. And they're going to begin bloating.
Yeah, I think that when you look at this matchup, right, I think the issue that happens is that rejuve was so essential for Paston Panu. They needed some kind of ability to get back into this game in terms of objectives, and those Super Troopers would have given it, alongside with the health regen on top of it. That's what you needed in this matchup to be able to consistently keep pushing. The rejuve being stolen with some very, very nice plays, because it wasn't instantaneous either. It was a battle of parries, of walls, of crew being real sticky on the middle of that point to kind of keep them up in business. So again, I think when you're looking at this squad from Maidong, they are just very, very good at the moment. And again, Heavis has just had a hard time. He's just a very, very hard time in the game. And this is what's kind of kept Paston Panu up a lot of times in the future, which in the past, sorry, in the case of being able to roam, be able to kind of take control of the game. But Maidong's just not allowed it. They have shut it down.
Yeah, and it does feel like it's targeted bullying on the schoolyard, really, against Helvis as well. Every time Helvis is in a position where he can try and go for a quick rotate, or in an engage where he could play heal, they're just not allowing him by targeting him consistently every time. So the target prioritization on the fights has been really good. Okay, at least here you catch Tavik off guard out in the open. You can dogpile on him. Posturing's there from the rest of the squad, but you will be one man down. It's a quick respawn at least. 10 seconds of moneyed time. Rejuvenator's going to be burnt for it. And then nipping at the heels, bit of a chase. Clean out the lane. Everything else is relatively pushed. It is only Mirage that's looking for the reset and pushing deep towards the Walker. Warden should be able to counter that. It's a bit of poke going on, Blank. Try and reset these lanes if they can.
It's a nice play from Taimu so far, because he just wants to check if Tavik comes that way, because obviously he's always got that capability of sending back over towards the rest of his squad using ult. Tavik goes hard towards him though. Taimu should be okay. It's 22k to a 19k Mirage. Easy peasy on the picks. In comes Last Stand. It's not quite stunned out quick enough though, and it actually follows through. Luckily, Kaljami is there, and with a couple of 1-2 punches to the top of the dome, we'll finally take him out. But that is at the cost of one Walker on that side, giving now access, Maidong, to that third flex slot.
Yeah, good luck getting away from this one as well, Taimu. They know all too well he's going to have to burn the ult for the peace out unless he can hear the footsteps.
Just chill him.
And they've given up the chase. They actually do push past. They sent over the death squad to try to track him down. They had a vague idea, but they can't quite find him. And he does just sit pretty. I mean, fair play. You can backdoor in a sec. And it's not the end of the world, especially if they cause a bit of ruckus and cause the rotation out from the rest of the team. McGuinness is having a bit of a stab in the dark and should spot them soon. Wall's good, Lash ahead of it, but the stun won't matter. Divine Barrier's popped. Call for the pocket as well. He's close in the back line. Just looking for the escape, but it's getting pretty uncomfortable. They do dive in. Oh no. Slapped in the head. And McGuinness shattered on that one.
Yeah, it's a good pick-off, actually, from the guys on Paston Panu. I mean, this is what you got to understand if you're playing McGuinness, so is that wall is kind of your escape tool. She used it to stun out the Majestic Leap coming through from the Lash, which is fair enough. I mean, 30-second cooldown, one of the biggest movement tools a lot of characters can get in their kit. But you got to remember, you don't have a lot of escape potential. Not exactly sure what Kaljami was thinking to himself there, as he just watched the tsunami of players head his way. Hayes is forced to pop the bullet dance, but that will be her last dance on that side of the map.
Heavy investment on the fight towards bridge. About 10 seconds of stagger between the two respawns on Paston Panu. Doing it for Winland. If they can find a way to course correct and still find victory here. It's lower bracket, BO1 only. No more second chances here in Deadlock core number 3 for Europe. Quick rotate on the run with the air. Make sure you break as many boxes on the path. Meanwhile, we join the PAV of Taimu, pushing deep on the lane again. Bit of damage going out. Grouping as well on the right back around. Geist here to assist. Taimu looking to at least slip a bit further out there. Mo and Krill going in deep. Steal on the HP from Geist from the side. Everyone's grouping. This has caused a hell of a fight. Crew, he can't bail. They find the pocket. That's a big pickup. It's a nice engage to build off. Captain as well going down. Hell, even a nice knock-up back onto the Infernus. Hell of a pullover from the rescue beam trying to keep him alive.
I mean, it's a good commit, right? You understand the McGinnis out of the lane. There's nothing to split your team up with the wall. So you have the full commit onto Maidong. This might be one of the first walkers that they'll grab because they are just starved right now. You can see Taimu's got nothing to buy right now. Yes, he could potentially sell out on the restorative shot, but they need walkers. The one over towards Parkside is very, very low, but again, just significant wave clear here coming through from the guys on Maidong. This is the limiter. This is the limiter for them. It's 3 flex slots to 1. And if they can't figure this out soon enough, it's going to be really problematic as we do get mid-boss spawning. Now, at this point of the game, we could even see Maidong baiting out mid-boss because they know that they're 2 items stronger right now over the guys on Pastin Panu. And that is a huge advantage, which is exactly what they go for.
Everyone punching away. Fist of Fury, hit onto the mid-boss. Get the call out. Oh, it does reel him in. The mid-boss fishing going on, and the Finns are interested. Maidong, do they have the setup for it? It looked like the combo was called out for the Mo and Krill already. He's pinned someone. Warden looking for the flank round the back. That's Tavik with the instant engage. Gets the chains into him. And no getaway for Jammy. Abrams slapped and removed from the equation. Quick chase on Geist as well. You've got info on it. They do get 1 free pickup. Could double back onto mid-boss if they want and finish what they've started. Once they're happy, they've sent them packing.
I mean, Crew goes relatively deep there versus Mikas. And we'll get punished for it. But yeah, they should be able to finish this one up. But it looks like there is going to be an attempt at a steal. In comes Big Goose. Death Slam is available. I think this is kind of last chance saloon right now for the guys over on Pastin Panu. Good steal from Taimu. Heads on in. Combo with the Death Slam. And that will be them all removed off the point. Beautiful stuff from Pastin Panu. This was the necessary play.
Taimu runs in, knew his mission well. Baited him out of position, slows him down with the Hex. You got the backup of Big Goose with a hell of a pull. Entire team goes up. Timing's great. Heavy punch connects and the Rejuvenator is stolen. Pastin Panu. Even though they're on the back foot, they're still looking good. Vintage play.
I mean,
Maidong just weren't ready, mate.
It's one as old as time. And I mean, yeah, that's exactly what you want with Lash pulling Maidong off the point. Very, very good. This was the one they needed, right? They had no choice. They had to make a play for it. And it felt almost all too easy. And again, it's just a very, very well-placed Death Slam. Binding Word was on him as well, so he had very limited time to get the grapple off and make sure he's in a good position. Yeah, really, really well done. Taimu's job wasn't all that hard after all. I think he was expecting a bit more of a fight against it. All he had to do was kind of walk up, and the path was cleared. The red carpet laid down.
Just vanished in front of his eyes. He just had to focus on punch him. Good execution, though. Communication was key and all about the subtle timing. The internal clock's looking good for the Finns.
Look at the soul count, Jacky.
Well. Yeah, I know, dude. They've actually been slowly bringing this back. The rejuve steal's huge for him as well because it gave him an opportunity to push these lanes a little bit more. And you've sort of tied this back into a position where you think of Maidong when they finally pulled ahead. That was at nearly 10k souls. To find an answer to it, it's pretty sick to see. It's a tight game. It's a tight game in the lower bracket. Shoulder charge into the stun. More damage being dumped. Shiv, he thought he was sharp, but you ain't slick enough for this one, son. Trying to charge through him. Oh, damage mitigation's good with the slice and dice for survivability. He's really making him fight for this one. Bleeds consistent, and Jammy gets what he wants eventually, but took far more than they expected.
Yeah, he was healthy. He was very healthy throughout the entirety of that fight. Again, Heavis Once again, dropping down those frost grenades, getting a bit of that sustain going through. Slam is available here for the Abrams too, but really the main goal here is just to take down this walker, get that third flex slot online. If they could potentially push a shrine as well, that will be one of the biggest swings for them. And now we're 5k ahead on the side of Pastin Panu. It's been a tough game, Jacky. It's been a really tough game. Taimu might be caught off guard. In comes the ultimate from the McGinnis. Binding Word will clip his wings, but he is safe for now.
Yeah, at least got into an off angle where it kind of breaks line of sight enough that they'd have to force around a corner. So not the end of the world. He can outweigh the handcuffs, let them fade off, and then peace out. So stays life dips back out towards mid side. Everyone just focusing on last second farming where possible. Quickly fan out, grab the camps. See if they can keep building, because that's what they're doing now. They're actually leading for one of the very few times we've seen throughout the course of this game. Since even the beginning, back in the laning phase, this is Pastin Panu. Not only equalizing, but putting themselves into a position where it looks like finally the scales have started to tip.
It's been good. I mean, this is the smart move coming through from my dong. It's just to whack the urn back in base and let that thing pull out, because honestly, it's unlikely that they'll be able to fend off for an urn push, and urn at this stage of the game is giving a ton of souls. We're talking 7,500 upwards. And I just believe that right now my dong thinks to themselves, I don't think we're winning this team fight versus them. We need to farm up. We need to clear our jungle. We need to look for an opportunity, try and find a pick before we place that in. At least the Mo and Krill here on captain, extremely tanky. Didn't opt to go for the Phantom Strike, going for the old school with the Warp Stone to get into position. A little bit more versatile, I'll say, the Warp Stone is. It just doesn't quite give you that mega range on the combo.
I see Krill.
Lots of verticality being used here. Hayes setting up for potentially a bit of a surprise as well. Smoked up, fight down towards the bridge, drop in. Quick path back up as well. Mate, everyone's looking for it. They're tasting the potential blood in the water. The urn tease so close. 28-minute game so far. It's neck and neck between my dong and Pastin Panu. Could be a bit of a backyard brawl when this one kicks off.
This is the stage of the game where team fights become sort of game defining, right? Shiv moves in, tries to displace Taimu, understanding just how strong that tornado can be in a fight, but he gets caught off guard. Shoulder charge comes in, but the masses of amounts of healing coming through with Leech on side for him in terms of his kit right now is huge. Taimu is bleeding out.
HP dented and confidence being knocked. Rest of Pastin Panu instantly peeks out from that one. All off the engage of Math on the Shiv, just slides in there, gets the damage out, and no one likes that many dots this early in the day. I mean, fair play to my dong as well. Anytime it feels like they do stagger, they never waste downtime. Every second on the clock here in Deadlock can be incredibly impactful, and they know how to maximize it. You know, they've got the jungle camps instantly taken wherever they can in terms of spacing. They make the most of breaking the boxes as well, farming up souls from that. It's, again, pretty lucrative right now at this stage of Deadlock. It kind of transitions a lot every update, but it's looking pretty good again for box breakers out there. And they do a good job, Blank, of always being able to find a way back in, even when it looks like your options are limited.
Yeah, even just golden statues at this stage of the game are getting to be quite impactful, just in terms of adding on extra bits of damage, extra bits of spirit, because you've got those 3 flex slots. You don't have another one, so what's the only thing you can do to increase your power at this point is just golden statues, giving you those minor buffs in terms of weapon damage, etc. I respect the survival given over to the Haze here. In terms of team fight, she's got lucky shot, escalating resilience, as well as Ricochet really building into that late game presence now, because we haven't seen a huge amount coming through from Bull just yet, but it's one good bullet dance away from being kind of a game ender. But this is a start into a fight here. Crew goes down early, picked off once again, and this is certainly becoming a reoccurring trend right now. It's just these pick offs, but it's a full commit.
Concussive combustion in. That's going to set up Tavik and the boys over on My Dong to at least make a counter play back. And Helvis goes down because of it. Sebastian Panu suffering from the potential success they thought they had. They commit to the fight on Greenwich, but the casualties are piling up already. 3 to the price of 1. 33 seconds on the respawn for him as well. So the pocket will be back up relatively soon. Oh, mate. How's this one going to go? Have My Dong finally put themselves into a position where they can build off of this? They do go back to basics. Dump the damage onto mid-boss. You know you've got better player count to work with in terms of the timings. Lash is alive, though. Big Goose has made this work before. He's up top, but you've been found by the Shiv. That's the GG, basically. Force him out. He's either going to go down in the fight or be so low that he can't go for the steal, and they should be set to take rejuve.
Yeah, he tried to force the Death Slam out as well to try and find a pick off onto one of them. And I think for My Dong, it had just been an incredible comeback. Frozen Shelter actually ends up hurting them in that last fight as well, in terms of locking them all into a difficult situation. I feel bad for Hevis there, because you can understand what he's trying to go for. Frozen Shelter into the bullet dance with Unstoppable, locking them in, tries to do a bunch of damage, but there is Metal Skins on side. Return fires galore at the moment coming through for My Dong. It's just half the haze to get too much done, and they've absolutely funneled the haze this game, right? They have funneled her so hard, allowed Bold to get ahead as much as possible, but it's always been in the back of the mind for My Dong that is going to be coming out in the late game. So return fires, metal skins, all bought nice and early. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, you can see the damage output there as well, with the 43k being spent well on the haze. But at this point in the game, unless you're able to take effectively 2.5 clean team fights back-to-back inside base, it just looks like My Dong have really got themselves into a state where they're pumped for this one. They want to close it down now, dive into the base, going deep. Tavik will pay for that. It's at least a trade back from Jacky. There's the heavy barrage and the rescue beam to keep Captain alive. Past in Panu. They're being fought, but they're not going down easy. Slide in from the side. That's Lash with the big dive. Ooh, Big Goose taken out, grouped up. Damage over the side, but it's Ball fully committing on the haze, making some good cleanup maneuvers. Soul Rebuff's coming back out, though, for the reses to keep them in lane, so you got to do it all over again.
That's what we wanted to see, though, is that Ball with Heavis, drop with the Frozen Shelter, locking him in position, and hit the bullet dance on top of it. It worked out well there. There was a lot of return fires, a lot of metal skins used early in that fight there. Might have been a good catch over towards Tavik here, and they are hunting him down. It's likely they'll just escape off the back of this. 2 soul rebirths coming through. Shiv as well as Infernus picking that one up. It wasn't the cleanest of fights in the world. A little bit messy like my pantry right now. But again, it did work out.
Well, you survived. I mean, that's the biggest piece, right? Very well could have been a slippery slope to a GG right there. But like I said, it's 2.5 team fights. That isn't where it ends. They just get themselves ready and come straight back in. Now all they got to do is dump damage on a patron. We can stay. Everyone's trying as best they can to make it uncomfortable. Heavy barrage peppering. There's the lift up from the Lash. Flings them into the base. Big Goose trying to make the game-winning play to keep them in this one and stop My Dong from taking them down. But not even Lash could get a handle on this one. My Dong taking the game in the end.
That was unbelievable, Jacky. I mean, I love that play from them on My Dong because they just sent straight into the base there. And I think that most other teams at that point in time, you see them with the 15 seconds on the timer, you'd likely kind of try and go for a reset on that. But they're like, right, we have enough damage. We've got the McGinnis on side. We've got Heroic Aura. We can just pummel the weakened patron, and it forced them to make a lot of decisions that I think Past and Pane were fairly uncomfortable with. So well played to My Dong.
Yeah, crazy stuff, damn. Hell of a best of one. It delivered for at least the one game we get today.
My Dong winning the best of one that we are covering today. Let's go, My Dong. But yeah, Past and Panu, huge effort. Both teams just incredibly stacked, and it's really cool to see the kind of talent that we're seeing in Deadlock, even in its early stages. So I'm excited to see where these teams go in the future as well. Looks like they were a pretty good match for each other. It was pretty even the whole way out. Blank, what were some moments that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think honestly, a lot of it was just that early game presence coming through from my dong. And I think that it was something that Paston Pandu just wasn't quite expecting, because their playstyle was something that catches a lot of teams that are slightly more inexperienced off guard. And it got Paston Pandu to this point. Not to say that they're a bad team, because they definitely showed us some very good antics towards the end of that one. But yeah, again, just a lot of these recovery plays coming through from my dong on a team that I didn't expect it. Right, I thought that team was a little bit immobile, but they were able to move around the map very well, and they weren't willing to allow none of these trades to go through. So it was a case of one Guardian goes down, my dong's immediately on it, and then try to take your Walker on off the back of it as well. So yeah, very, very fun stuff. It was most of that early game which kind of put Paston Panu on the back foot, and it realistically was just that rejuvenator steal that kept them in this.
And Jackie, can you tell me what you thought of the McGinnis in this comp as well? Usually we don't see her in competitive play, but this time around it seemed a bit different, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting more and more McGinnis sort of for the past kind of couple weeks,
The
or
meta's
month now,
changed,
which
it's
has
cool.
been cool. Yeah, and like we said going in, it's very fun to see what you can do with her. It's nice to see. Like, again, McGinnis here, you can see sort of the usability. If you're very drilled as a McGinnis, there's a lot you can do in terms of the tactical nature of a wall. It's very fun to sort of control fights with it, make escape plays. There's a lot that can be done. You see the nuance with it. More so than anything right now, I think it's just how impactful Heavy Barrage can be if you use it right, if you build into it. With Spirit Scaling changing, obviously, what was it, a couple of weeks ago now. But she feels a lot more meaty, where she can have a ton of impact with her Heavy Barrage.
For sure.
You can be this kind of big damage dealer in key moments. And it's also just key turret placement. Trying to get them out as much as possible, sure, but in the right angles to actually do the job that you want. And you could see a lot of that thought process behind it. Like the setups from the turrets were well thought out, even when you're just trying to maximize your APM of like the cooldown of actually using turrets throughout a game. So yeah, good McGinnis gameplay. Look good.
Right then, what does this mean for the teams going forward? We won't be covering the games, but guys, can you break it down what will be going forward from now on? Which teams go on and which teams fall down in the bracket?
Yeah, having a quick look at the bracket on this side. It's not been updated just yet, but effectively, the way it works, that was our lower bracket semi-final. Obviously, lower bracket already, right? Have you got the other link? Is it updated on there?
Let's have a little look at the other link.
Quick look at the bracket. No.
But effectively, for context, the game that was going on the other stream on Moot Monthly, that'd be the upper bracket finals. That's Buff Enjoyers taking on Deadlock Dudes, like we set up beforehand. But whoever loses that will be knocked into the lower bracket final, and will play the team that we've just seen win, which is my dong. So my dong effectively now have to take down either Buff Enjoyers or Deadlock Dudes, and then they'll have a shot at the grand final, preceding whoever.
Oh my gosh, there was a cat.
Was that the cat jumping over the camera?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
that was pretty sick, actually. Yeah.
I was like, what is the spring brush? But anyway, yeah, that was the only game we are covering today. We are going to be rating Moot Monthly's channel in just a moment, so you can continue the action there. But that was our coverage of it. Let's just fill you guys in on what to expect, and we'll throw you guys over there in just a moment. So don't go anywhere. There will be more, just not from us.
Yeah, more games, more stuff to get through. I think you're in for a treat if you're interested in watching some more good old-fashioned European Deadlock throughout the course of today. It's getting to a bit of a fever pitch. You're seeing the meta sort of evolving. We're getting some old names, some young names, all sorts of different blood in the scene already. And people are finding rosters. I think that's the other cool thing. We're starting to get to a point now where you're getting some cool teams that are developing, where people have actually got more rigidity in terms of their prac schedule, and it's getting a little bit more sort of pristine on the sides. It's very fun to watch right now. The games are looking good. And yeah, the teams that we actually have left are actually really talented as well. I think we're in a great spot in terms of the quality of competition you've got with the bracket. So they've done well for the Deadlock core number 3.
I mean, even this matchup was pretty on par with each other. They were both extremely skilled. I think it just came to a matter of a few mistakes here and there, and that's how it always works in competition. But you know what? It'll just even get more cutthroat from here as the talent gets better.
Yeah, I think that for my dong, they lost versus Deadlock Dudes earlier on. We'll see if Buff Enjoyers do take on Deadlock Dudes and take them out. But again, if it's my dong versus Deadlock Dudes, they'll get that rematch, which is going to be really, really fun.
But yeah, otherwise, guys, remember, we do have a subscribe button now. Woo! Little plug. So basically, if you guys want to support us, feel free to subscribe. It's not mandatory, but we do have it now. So yay, I made some little emotes for everyone. Yeah, if you want to subscribe and support Dead Air, that's the best way to do it, other than subscribing on our YouTube for free. But thanks so much to everyone who's even just here watching and supporting not only the Deadlock Core tournament, but also us at the same time. Very cool of you all. Much love. But yeah, sorry, little plug there we had to. Also, I think you get 3 months of Discord Nitro for free right now until Halloween. So that's pretty cool. I subbed for 3 months of Discord Nitro. I got that deal. It was pretty sick.
Made the most of it. Made the most of it.
Exactly. So yeah, go for it if you want. No mandatory, but it would help us a lot. Otherwise, we will be going to the other games shortly on Moot Monthly's channel. And yeah, I think that's been us from Dead Air. If you guys have anything else to say, feel free to go for it now.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
We'll see you guys later. Goodbye.